The world he entered was a kaleidoscope of wonder. The interlace was no mere place. It was an idea manifest, a dream folded into reality. Time flowed differently here. It did not march forward, but pulsed like breath. Elias walked with the being, his guide, he realized, though no name was offered. It didn't need one. Their connection was beyond language, flowing through shared emotion and mental resonance. They passed a river that shimmered with memory. Within its currents, he saw moments from distant lives, a child laughing under twin suns, a mountain rising from sand, a hand extended in peace before a machine made of bone. It was all real, or had been. Everything here is a repository, the being explained, a living archive. We store not in pages, but in moments. They arrived at a circular structure grown from crystal and vine, a great dome echoing the one beneath the sea. Inside, other beings gathered, each different in form and essence. Some pulsed with pure energy. Others wore shells of translucent material. None looked human, and yet none felt alien. Elias stood at the center. The light dimmed. "We bring you here not for what you are, but for what you may become," said a voice that was all their voices combined. A spire rose from the floor. Upon it sat a seed, black, glossy, wrapped in threads of light. The pulse must be returned. Earth has forgotten it. You will remind them. "What is it?" Elias asked, eyes locked on the seed. "The core of renewal, a harmonizer. It will restore balance to the fields of Earth, ecological, mental, energetic." "If they listen," Elias said. The figures turned their gaze inward, as though looking through him and into the world beyond. "They will, or they will fall." The seed rose and drifted toward him. The moment it touched his chest, it sank in without pain. A warm surge spread through him, like the embrace of sunlight after years of cold. "You are now the bearer, the anchor. You must rise." And with that, the interlace dissolved. He awoke in Nereid, still seated, but everything had changed. The cockpit shimmered with golden veins. The glyphs were gone, but their impression remained etched in his vision. "Nadia," he croaked into the calm. Her voice came through, distorted but relieved. "Elias, you vanished from sonar. We thought we lost you." "I found it, or it found me." The submersible ascended without command. The dome closed behind him, its glow fading until it was indistinguishable from the sea floor. By the time he surfaced, the Calypso dawn was drifting under a golden sunset. Nadia pulled him from the hatch. "You're freezing," she said. "You've been down for hours." They returned to shore within the week. Elias felt the change with every step. The world looked the same, but he didn't. Trees swayed to greet him. Animals watched from a respectful distance. Electronic devices buzzed subtly in his presence, responding to his energy. The seed was alive inside him. It whispered truths, offered clarity. He understood now how to heal the poisoned rivers, reawaken barren soil, neutralize toxins in the air. Word spread fast. First as rumors, then news stories. The man who made dead land bloom, the sailor who healed a coral reef with his hands. Scientists couldn't explain it. Governments took interest. But Elias didn't want fame. He wanted impact. He gathered others, healers, thinkers, skeptics, turned believers. He taught them what he knew. Some were given slivers of the pulse. Others simply learned to listen to the earth again. Within a year, cities had green veins pulsing through their concrete skin. Water systems that once choked with plastic ran clean. Food shortages declined. People slept better. Some said they even dreamed in colors they'd never seen before. And always, Elias walked among them. Never a prophet, just a man. One who had seen the heart of the world. and brought its treasure home. But balance attracts imbalance. Some feared the change. Corporations that fed off scarcity, leaders who thrived on unrest. They called Elias a fraud, a terrorist, an alien. One night, a drone strike leveled the sanctuary he'd built in Patagonia. Dozens died. The earth wept with him. Torrents fell for days. Elias stood in the ruins, ash coating his skin. Nadia appeared beside him, silent. "I gave them peace," he said, "and they answered with fire." She placed a hand on his chest. "Then we give it again, and again. That's the only way." The pulse within him flared. The earth beneath them trembled, not in anger but awakening. From the ashes, a new grove grew overnight, unstoppable. Decades passed. The world changed. Some resisted, others embraced. The balance tipped again. But the pulse remained, and when Elias Vance's time ended, his body returning to the earth, the seed within him did not die. It grew. A golden tree now stands in the center of the world, its roots touching every continent, its leaves shimmering with unspoken song. Children sit beneath it and dream, and they remember the man who found a treasure at the bottom of the sea and changed everything. Years later, legends wove themselves through generations like roots through soil. They called him the Anchor, the Green Flame, the Listener. His name echoed not in temples or governments, but in gardens, schools, songs whispered to infants under starlight. Not all remembered what he had done, but all lived in the world he left behind. The pulse had spread, not as domination, but invitation. It infused medicine, energy, architecture, and art. It inspired a new kind of science, one that partnered with nature instead of dissecting it, no longer a battle to tame the earth, but a dance with it. Even the interlace became known in time, not fully, not publicly, but in quiet corners of academia, in dream quests of gifted children, and in the glyphs that began to appear spontaneously in the minds of those ready to hold them. Nadia remained, older now, quieter, but radiant in the way weathered stones radiate warmth. She tended the golden tree. She taught the children to listen. On the eve of 100 years since Elias's first dive, people gathered around the tree, not for worship, but to remember. Each brought something to lay at its roots: seeds, stones, old letters, digital memories, small carved boats. And as night fell, the tree lit from within, casting a gentle glow across the faces below. Among them stood a child with wild hair and bright eyes. He looked up and whispered, "I want to find a treasure too." Nadia, standing beside him, smiled. "You already have," she said. "You're living in it." Far above, unseen, the interlace shimmered, still watching, still dreaming, still waiting for the next bearer.